Good day, esteemed viewers. I'm Annastesia Ononuju, a third-year law student of the University of Ibadan and an undergraduate intern at HARLEM Solicitors. Today, I will be discussing collocation and infrastructure sharing. It is no doubt that the era we are in is a digital era. Every day, we make use of our electronic devices to transfer and to receive information, which could either be mails, which could either be messages, or even calls. It has been calculated that 95% of humans either own, possess, or make use of electronic devices for telecommunication purposes. It has also been argued that to take care of the needs of this 95% of humans, there should be a plethora of equipment that enable the transfer and reception of information. This equipment is called the base transceiver station, BTS for short. The BTS is an equipment that is stationed in a particular place that enables the transfer and reception of information. The argument that there should be a plethora of base transceiver stations is unfounded and invalid. This is because a BTS site cannot be found in every man's house. Rather, its stations strategically at different places, yet we are able to transfer and receive information seamlessly, efficiently, and effortlessly. It therefore follows that there is an arrangement on ground that enables the transfer and reception of information. This arrangement is called collocation and infrastructure sharing. Collocation, as the name suggests, means the coexistence of more than one thing in a particular place, just as we can see in this image. While infrastructure sharing means the joint use of certain facilities and structures by certain things or persons. In terms of the telecommunication industry, collocation means the joint use of telecommunication masts and towers by more than one operator, and infrastructure sharing means the joint use of network facilities by more than one operator, subject to certain terms and conditions. The importance of collocation and infrastructure sharing has been given credence to by the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 in Section 4, Subsection 1, Paragraph O. The Nigerian Communication Commission has also recognized the importance of collocation and infrastructure sharing. That is why in the 2009 guidelines on the installation of telecommunication masts and towers, it has provided in Clause 9, Sub 7, Paragraphs A to D, terms for infrastructure sharing. Paragraph A provides that the installation, the design and construction of telecommunication masts and towers in excess of 25 meters of height should be in such a way that at least 3 service providers can collocate on that mast. While paragraph B provides that the telecommunication service provider that has built that mast must intimate the NCC that the mast is available for use by other service provider. Paragraph C provides that in the case of any dispute or argument between the service provider, the NCC shall be the final arbiter, well, subject of course to an appeal to a court of competent jurisdiction. Why the NCC is the final arbiter is to ensure justice and to prevent unfair treatment of the asset-seeking telecommunication service provider. Paragraph D makes reference to the 2021 guideline on collocation and infrastructure sharing. Having made reference to the importance of collocation and infrastructure sharing through the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 and the NCC Guidelines 2009, it is pertinent at this juncture to state the importance of collocation and infrastructure sharing. Why collocation? Why infrastructure sharing? It has been made known in the objective of the 2021 guideline on collocation and infrastructure sharing that collocation and infrastructure sharing reduces the number of telecommunication masts and towers in an environment, therefore protecting the environment. It also reduces the capex and the opex of telecommunication service provider, thereby enabling them to focus on their core purpose, which is the provision of quality service to its subscribers. Therefore, they invest more in their core purpose, making room for more network service coverage. Having mentioned the importance of collocation and infrastructure sharing, however captivating, it is not all facilities that are allowed by law to be shared. They are called non-alienable facilities, and this is provided for in Clause 5 of the 2021 Collocation and Infrastructure Sharing Guideline. However, there are more facilities that are allowed by law to be shared. That is the good news. There are 13 in numbers, and they've been grouped in 2 categories. The first is the passive infrastructure, and the second is the active infrastructure. The passive infrastructure consists of 8 facilities that are allowed to be shared. And these 8 facilities, the first is right of way. What is right of way? Right of way is a permit given by the government to any person or to a corporate body to make use of a particular land. It is given to a telecommunication service provider to build on a particular site, and it is allowed by law to be shared. The second refers to the mast itself. Of course, the mast itself is pertinent to collocation and infrastructure sharing. That is why there is a guideline on collocation and infrastructure sharing, and that is why we are having this conversation. The second refers to the poles on the mast. They are what make up the mast. They have to be shared. The fourth is the trenches, which is the underground wiring, electrical wiring. while the fifth refers to the space in building. Of course, they need a space. If you can see this image, there's a space where they can keep their equipment, while the sixth refers to the electrical power source, which could either be private or public source, while the seventh refers to antenna source. The active infrastructure sharing that is allowed to be shared are just 5 in number, and they are subject to stringent rules. The 5 are: the first, complete network structure; the second, radio network controller; the third, switching center; the fourth, frequency; and the fifth, base station. Having mentioned this, what are the types and methods of collocation and infrastructure sharing? If you are interested now in collocation and infrastructure sharing, how can you collocate? How are you allowed by law to collocate and share infrastructure sharing? There are 2 ways of collocating and sharing infrastructure, and they are the operator to operator and the third party infrastructure sharing method. Take for instance this image you can see here. If this is a mobile network operator and this is a mobile network operator, if mobile network operator A owns this tower and allows mobile operator B to collocate on this tower, that is operator to operator infrastructure sharing method. While the second method is the third party method. The third party method is when a third party, that is a neutral party, does not provide the same facilities as those that collocate in the mast, give their mast to those that will collocate. Take for instance, this structure is made by an infraco. It could allow other telecommunication service providers like MNOs to collocate on this mast. Let's take for instance, this is an ATC tower, this is MTN microwave, this is 9 mobile microwave, and the likes. Having mentioned this, what then is the future of collocation and infrastructure sharing? Collocation and infrastructure sharing has come to stay. It is a term that is very pertinent to the telecommunication industry. And as earlier mentioned, this world we are in is in a digital era. And telecommunication industry is the backbone of the digital era. Therefore, collocation and infrastructure sharing will also stay in this era. It has in fact been calculated that 6.5 million telecommunication masts and towers as at 2025 will be built and they will be shared by different telecommunication service providers. Telecommunication service providers have also been allowed to share and to interconnect. To understand what interconnectivity means as reference to collocation and infrastructure sharing, kindly visit our website at www.harlemsolicitors.com and follow us on our social media handle, Harlem Solicitors. Thank you.